Hello, everybody, and welcome back to FPL Fanatics. I'm Alex.
And I'm Joel.
And this is team selection for Gameweek 8. Now, obviously, there's been some stuff happened in the last week. There's been no football. There's been a lot of kind of big things happening, and that's why we've not posted over the last week. But this video is going to be a little bit different to last week, as, spoiler alert, me and Joel's both activated our wildcards, which is exciting.
It's exciting.
It's very exciting, but I would have liked to do it on the international break for having that nice 2 weeks, but I've got too many players out.
I thought I was gonna. I've been back and forth all week thinking about this, and I was pretty settled on just taking a -4 and not doing it. But it was only today I've convinced myself that no, I might as well just wildcard. So the button's been hit. Regret it a little bit already, but there's no going back now, is there?
I kept looking at my team I've got 2 free transfers, and I assume you've got the same.
Yeah.
And even if I took a 4-point hit, I still only had 10 players out. But I was playing Pereira, which actually I don't mind necessarily this week with that fixture. But like the likes of like Salah, 13 mil, just not doing anything on the bench. Trent, 7.5 mil. Like, you could make my team so much better. And Liverpool's fixtures are going to take a bit of a turn. Like, they've got City and stuff soon, so I'm a bit like, if I'm going to take any risk or any chance, it makes sense to do it now, especially with them fixtures coming up.
Yeah.
But I just couldn't contemplate doing a -8 to get 11 out.
No, if you have to do that, I'd definitely wildcard. I was pretty set. I could get 11 players out without a hit, really. But I just decided to do it anyway, because what's the difference? It's 1 week difference, and it's going to be similar to my wildcard next week anyway. I just have more time to think about it next week.
And to be honest, you could doubt it. Although the only thing is injuries and stuff from international breaks. Like, if something happens, like,
we could be
that's
unlucky,
the only thing, isn't it? Yeah.
Oh well, we roll with it.
Yeah. Well, but it sounds like a lot of the community as well is wildcarding this week. Mainly probably because either they're invested in Brighton, maybe a bit of Palace, and obviously the likes of Liverpool and Man United as well in
Chelsea
in recent weeks.
Yeah.
Chelsea as well. Yeah, Chelsea. So it's kind of a good week to wildcard, but also if you can get 11 players out without even taking a hit, I think you might benefit in the long run potentially. But
possibly.
We're both on wildcards.
It depends who those players are, right? Because I guess the benefit of not wildcarding this week is it allows you to take some like 1 week punts on someone that you wouldn't put in your wildcard, which is what I was going to do. I was going to bring Son in, but then after seeing Spurs' performance against Sporting last night, I just have no interest in him now, even though they're against Leicester. Son's just looked off it all season, so I'm just not ready to take that risk. I'd rather have Haaland in, so that's why I've done it.
I agree. Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, when I looked at my team with them, a couple of transfers, the players who I was taking a risk on, were going from Salah to De Bruyne. Now, the main reason I was looking at that was because last time De Bruyne faced Wolves, he got 4 goals.
I know, I thought
Do you
about
remember that?
Yeah.
So I was like, but I'm like, no, I can't look at it like that, because that was virtually not going to happen, and it's not going to happen again, right?
Could do.
And then I was like, what else do I want? Like, I wanted like Mitrovic in, and I want a thing, but then I'm like, well, then I was like, do I keep Jesus? I ain't got enough money to upgrade my third striker. I was like, I didn't want to downgrade Trent to someone who I wasn't necessarily happy with, so I was like, it's caused me too many headaches.
It just
makes
sense, doesn't it? Yeah.
Just made sense, right? Right. Enough chit-chatting.
Yeah.
Shall we look at my wildcard draft first?
Yeah.
I'm just too nervous.
Yeah, we haven't seen them yet. We haven't seen each other, so this is exciting.
No, it's a complete surprise to us. And if we've got the same team, we apologise in advance.
We could well do as
We have no idea.
Yeah, I think
we could well do.
Let's see.
Right, let's have a look. Right then, so my wildcard draft as it stands is on your screen now, but for the sake of myself and Joel's not seen this team yet, so as I read it out loud, he's going to kind of react to it, because we want it to be as honest as possible to the reactions.
Yeah.
So we'll start off in net. I think you might have an idea who I've got in net, but just to put you out of your misery, I've got Nick Pope. I think a lot of people are going for him. If I'm honest, it was between him and Ederson. And the only reason I've gone Pope over Ederson is because I believe Game Week 12's fixture between them and Arsenal has been called off because of Arsenal's game against PSV. So I'm like, right, I didn't want to risk that, if that makes sense. It felt like an unnecessary risk, especially, and I don't want to waste a future transfer on a keeper potentially, at least until World Cup. And I just think Pope's got the save points as well, so if he does come across an our team, which I think he has a couple of difficult fixtures in there, he can get save points where Ramsdale will just not getting any of that, right? He just won't get in them. So I think he's a great option. And Bournemouth at home, I mean, you can't get a better fixture than that, right? Really? No, I don't think.
Not defensively, no.
Not defensively, so he's no surprise in there. I think he's going to be very, very popular, and he probably might go in up in price soon as well. And I'll go from left to right. I've got Ruben Dias in there for the minute.
Oh, okay.
So I've got Ruben Dias in there. Main reason being, it was between him and Perisic, right? But with Perisic, I really want for that. It's that Leicester fixture that's like tempting me. Don't get me wrong, because I think Perisic looks great, but again, with Champions League and stuff, I'm just a bit like, if I played him, I'd be doubting every week if he's going to play, and I just can't. I can't be like, I don't want that in my team, if that makes sense, really. I'm trying to avoid it.
You won't even be 100% sure he's going to start this week.
Exactly.
So right off the bat, that's already a headache you don't want, do you?
And he played like 90 minutes as well, I think.
Yeah,
pretty sure.
Game,
so.
Yeah.
And they might think that Leicester can be like got at without him, which they can. So I've gone Diaz more for security. I think Wolves away is a great defensive fixture. I think Wolves are like good at like themselves at like defending, but like Wolves attacking are not very strong. I mean, Diego Costa might have something to say about that, but we don't know. We don't know if he's going to get straight in the team or anything yet. So I'm happy with Diaz, and then I've doubled up on the Man City defence to Cancelo as well. Cancelo's not gone anywhere. I just think, I know they've got Man United next week, but then after that they've got Southampton. But as you'll see in a little bit, I've got a decent bench to kind of cover it this time round as well. So I'm fairly happy with that double for this week. I probably will play only one next week, and then the double in 11 against Southampton. And then my plan would be to potentially move Diaz on back to Trent in 12. When Liverpool's fixtures come. That's my plan. So the reason why I've gone double is it's only temporary. But I think if you're going to double up in any defence like you did at the beginning of the season, it's going to be City, right? Yeah. If you're going to double up in any. Well, speaking of double ups, I've also gone Trippier, because Trippier has been great this season on all set pieces, and it's that Bournemouth fixture and the next couple of fixtures that are really, really tasty to me. And I know I've gone double on both at the minute.
You're going for a double-double?
A double, but I think it's a great double on paper, right? But Trippier's got that kind of, he has got that kind of goal threat and set piece threat as well. He's on everything. I think he's only behind Trent on like chances created as well, and he's got like just behind him on crosses as well. So he's like level with Trent, but for like 2-odd mil cheaper. And he's got the fixtures on his side, right? So he's been in my team from day one. I know you regretted taking him out, didn't you? I know you did for Kukurea.
I had 2 free transfers and I had nothing to do, so kind of forced my hand and I got rid of him.
You got Stansfield in who got out on loan, do you remember?
What?
Stansfield. You got Stansfield and he went out on loan.
I did.
Do you remember?
Yeah, I know.
That's great. You can fix that problem, can't you?
He's gone. Spoiler, he's gone.
Spoiler. So that's my back line at the minute. I'm playing 3 at the back with this team, for this coming week at the minute. Then we'll start in the middle. James Maddison. Got James Maddison in. Not necessarily for this week. After this week, he's got a nice run of fixtures, right? And James Maddison's just had a nice rest of like a week and a half, because he's been playing more than what I think they wanted him to play, because of like the basically a weaker team without him. But he's just had a nice rest. Tottenham can be got at as well, so I'm playing him at the minute. You'll see on my bench that I could possibly rotate him, but I've got him in at the minute. And he's like, again, he's on set pieces and stuff as well, and he's got that goal threat, because if Vardy's not like firing, where's the goals coming from? It's coming from Maddison. That's the only other option they've got at the minute. So I really like him, and he's more for that 5 or 6 weeks. He's not necessary for this week, but it feels stupid to book a transfer in on this early, especially when I've got a decent bench to cover him if I want to this week. Then we've got Martinelli. I'm not getting rid of him. I think he's the best pick at that price. 6.5 is what you pay for him, but I got him for like 6.2, I think, or 6.3. So, and I think I still want some Arsenal cover because they're still playing very well. Even though their fixtures turn a little bit, I still think they're playing very well. And I think out of everyone in that team, he's the one I'm most likely to keep, which is why he's in this team. So he's not gone anywhere. Then at the minute, I am starting Andreas Pereira because of that Nottingham Forest away fixture. Again, this is where I said about like the bench that I've got. It enables this, and I think Fulham's fixtures are slightly changing now where you can actually play him without thinking, oh, I'm playing him against, the likes of City or anything like that. They've got fixtures where he could return, and if he's on set pieces, which he has been, I think he's a great shout. But he's a greater bench enabler, and I think again he's probably going to be 1 foot rest at season, right? At that price, playing every game, it's hard for me unless you go 5 big in the middle, which is highly unlikely right now.
Yeah, totally.
It's a great shout, right? So he's playing at the minute. Then we'll move on to Jared Bowen. So what do you think about Bowen? He took a penalty in the Europa League with Declan Rice and Antonio on the pitch.
Yeah,
right? And he's come down from 0.5 to 8.1. So I'm like, he's come down, and I'm like, because he were 8.5 and he was like so much different from Mount and Maddison. No one considered him because he was just a bit too expensive. Now he's coming back down to the price that I think he probably should have been to be in contention with being selected by people. And again, they've got a nice run of fixtures, a really nice run of fixtures. Everton away is probably more difficult than it has been recently, with them playing 5 at back and Cody and Tarkowski. But the fixtures after that look really, really good. They've got like Leeds and Southampton. Like if they're going to turn their season around, I think these are the fixtures to kind of do that. So I took a bit of a gamble on him. And then up top, we'll go from again left to right. Haaland, I'm not even going to say anything about him. He's in. Apologies, just got an email for it. No point at all. Then at the minute, I've got Harry Kane. Now,
yes.
I know you stuck with him because he's your boy. I was thinking about Son just like you, but I'm like, you know what? Son is just not giving me any signs that he's going to do something. Kane's on penalties. He loves Leicester, and then it's Arsenal after this as well. So 2 London derbies. Yeah. I can't see why I would go without him. He will be the person that if I wanted to make some money, it will be likely him who will make that way. But I think at least for the next 2 weeks, I'm fairly happy. And if he, absolutely banged for them 2 weeks, then I'd, try and look elsewhere. But he's in there for now. And then I've got Mitrovic. I did have Isaac for a long time, but the reason why I've gone Mitrovic, I think, is because Mitrovic is more nailed on, 90-minute man. They play to suit him, whereas Isaac's still learning that system. Yes, he had a great debut against City as well. But if Callum Wilson came back like a week early, at the minute they're only playing one up top. So who's going to start between Isaac and Wilson? I don't know, and I don't really want to take that risk, if that makes sense at the minute. I think there could always be a potential that I could downgrade Kane to like an Isaac. Do you know what I mean? Like when I said about that money. So I think he's a great option. And so is Tony as well. So I think you could come down very easily and then upgrade, if Salah comes back in, could easily, bring Salah back or something like that. So I think having that gives me options. I just don't want to start with Isaac and Mitrovic when Kane, I think, has got 2 good fixtures for him specifically, not team-based. I think for him, he's got great fixtures. And I think it's an opportunity as well to get on him. And then I've got, imagine that week where if I downgrade him, then I've got all that money to spend again. So if Salah's still not doing anything, I could eventually go up to a KDB as well if I wanted to, you know what I mean, and work it that way and work a bit different, because I think their fixtures will turn again in like 4 or 5 weeks' time. So they could have another nice run. Then on the bench, Ward, I'm not really bothered about him. I've just kept him because at the minute he's kept his place and he's a playing keeper. Not much more to say on him. If Iverson looks like he's going to get the start, for example, this weekend, then I might switch to him purely for that reason. I'm not actually going to plan on playing him. Do you know what I mean?
No. Yeah.
Then at the minute, in the order that I've got him in, I've got Kufal at West Ham. I was tempted by Emerson because he's a little bit cheaper, but I think they're both kind of rotation risks now. But I think the fixtures that West Ham's got are look nice from a defensive point of view, and I think how do you improve on like bad run of fixtures is try and keep clean sheets first, and then go that from the back. And I think Kufal has been decent to me before as well, and I think he's 4.4 mil, so I'm not breaking the bank to get him in. He's a nice rotation option, so I could play him next week. When Diaz and Cancelo's got Man United at home, because I think they'll score, especially with how we've been playing last couple of weeks. So he's a nice option. And then second after him, my old pal Leon Bailey.
Oh, Bailey's back.
Because I've gone 3 strikers, I don't need the non-playing one. I can go 2 cheaper midfielders. Right. And I'm not being funny. I was between him, Jensen at Brentford, because they've got Bournemouth next week, so I thought that could be decent. But I'm like, I don't really want to spend that much money on it when I don't plan on playing them all the time. And I think Leon Bailey, they've got a nice run of fixtures coming up as well. And I think that goal that he had against City could spark him off a little bit. And I don't mind having him on the bench at 4.7 either. I think 4.7 is fine. I know he annoyed me early on in the season, but I'm like, if I'm not planning on playing him, which I'm not at the minute, then I don't mind. And I think if they're going to bounce back, they're going to have to bounce back against these fixtures that they've got coming up, like Southampton at home. They've got this week, but I don't think I'm going to play him ahead of them just because I don't know if he's going to start. Essentially,
yeah.
And then I've got Reece James last because I want him, especially in a Potter system, because I think they're going to definitely play wing back, and I think he's only going to get better under Potter, if I'm honest. So he's staying, and he's the only one who's staying out of the 6 players who I had not playing at all. So no Liverpool. Plans are at the minute, I'm going to bring Zaha in game week 10. That's absolutely happening. And it'll be either Maddison or Bowen potentially who goes. It depends if I want to get rid of Kane as well, because if I downgrade Kane to someone, for example, after them 2 games, I've got so much money that I could even upgrade Bailey, for example. But it just depends what my plans are after that. I want to bring him back in Trent eventually as well, so then I'll have James, Cancelo and Trent and Trippier as like my 4 main ones, and I'm like, I think that's a great back line. But I've got no rush to bring in Trent because of the difficult fixtures, and at the minute they're just not firing all cylinders. I know he's the most creative defender, and that's why he's 7.5. But I think at the minute I can take that risk for at least a couple of weeks, and then get the money for him somewhere else, and then upgrade like I said, Diaz to him. So I've got that. That are my only plans at the minute. I definitely want Zaha because that's why I was in my original team, but because he's got this fixture got cancelled this week, I've got him out, and I thought I'll bring him back in after that Chelsea game.
Yeah.
And then everyone else, I'm kind of settled on. It was just between Isaac, Mitrovic, Perisic. That midfield is quite difficult. Not sure who else I'd want at the minute, really. I'd get Luis Diaz in if Liverpool pick back up if I want to get that like Liverpool cover. Yeah, but they're not playing yet, so. Yeah. What do you think? That's about it, really.
Yeah, I mean, I like it. It's spoiler. It's very similar to mine.
I thought it might be.
But there's some differences. Yeah, so are you going to be mostly playing 4 at the back each week, do you think?
I think when James is back...
4-3-3.
4-3-3, and I've got Kufal as a nice kind of with a nice fixture, so I don't mind playing.
Because you've got a lot of big defenders still. I know a lot of people are kind of trending away from big at the back, and it's not necessarily big at the back list, but there are some pricey defenders there.
Yeah.
But a double City defence, I quite like, to be fair. I haven't seen many people who double City defence. And you think they'd kind of been a bit unlucky to concede as many goals as they have so far. Yeah. So I think going forward, even though the fixtures aren't brilliant, they're still the best defence in the league, and I don't think doubling up is a bad option. And same with Newcastle. So, no, I like it. I mean, the only concern is Bailey, I suppose. But like you said, if you're not going to be playing him each week, then it doesn't really matter, does it?
No, and I think, as he's proved, it's one of them players where if like he's on your bench, he could always come on for 10 minutes and still score. Like, look at that screamer.
Yeah.
But I think that is always, even when I looked at him, when I had him at the beginning of the season, that was always kind of why I expected him. But I just think around that price, there is no one else who can be as probably like who could bag 2 goals easily, like quick. Yeah. Apart from
to be fair, are you not tempted to start him this week? I think I'd probably prefer him over Maddison. You know.
Well, that's the thing. That's what I'm saying. I've got even Kufal because I'm not sure. I think Everton's struggling to score. Do you know what I mean? I think they're struggling to score, but so are West Ham. So that's why that game will be interesting. So
yeah,
I am tempted. Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose you're kind of risking it as well in defence with you're banking on both those 2 teams to get a clean sheet. If they both concede, then your defence is screwed this week. But having said that, absolutely. I think Bournemouth and Wolves are 2 of the best fixtures to have defensively, right? So I'd probably start all them 4 as well at the back. Yeah.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. I think what I want is kind of just would love to know if Bailey's going to start. Because at least Maddison, I know he's going to start. So if I knew he was going to start, then I'd probably play him over Maddison. And then next week, Maddison will be straight in.
I think he does start. I think I'd play.
I mean, he's had a rest, hasn't he? So he's got probably if everyone's like kind of fit as well, and have like 10 days to get fit. Then you're right, and he's probably in that best team at the minute. You'd say, right? I think.
Yeah, I'd say so.
So yeah, no, I agree. I'd probably that'll probably go down to deadlines because it'll just depend on how risky I want to be, really.
That's fair.
But I should say as well, captaincy is on Haaland at the minute as well.
Yeah,
I've got vice captaincy on Kane. The only reason I might switch is if Haaland does 90 minutes against Dortmund tonight.
Would you switch if he did 90 minutes?
The only reason I might switch is because I think Harry Kane has scored like 5 out of the last 6 games against Leicester, so I think he gets a goal. But the issue is I think Haaland could easily get a hat-trick every game. That's the only... Whether he plays 30 minutes or not. But at the minute, it's on Haaland, and I think it'll probably stay on that unless something dramatic happens. But that's my team. Then, like my little plans, like I said, we can discuss them more next week when we look at like what we're going to do in the future. Yeah, Shall we have a look at your team and you tell me what the differences are? Because again, I've not seen your team. You've seen my team now. Let's have a look because I'm quite interested.
Cool. All right, let's go on to it.
Let's do it.
All right, then. Here we go with my wildcard team for game week 8. It's not exactly the same. We've got, I think we've
different
got a couple
keepers.
Players different.
Ooh.
No, same keeper.
He's the best option right now, isn't he?
Yeah, I've got Pope as well. To be honest, right, if I was wildcarding in game week 9, I think I'd be a bit tempted to go for Guaita, the Palace keeper, which is interesting because I think the defensive numbers this season, to be fair, are really poor so far. But I think they have been unlucky and they've had tough fixtures. And last season, we know that there can be like a solid defensive unit. And I think with the fixtures that they've got coming up, arguably they're better than Newcastle's in a couple of weeks. I think he could be a really nice differential pick because no one will have a Palace defender. But the only problem is obviously that he blanks this week. So I'd have to play Ward at Spurs and I don't want to do that. No. I've gone with Pope. Bournemouth at home, it's a great fixture in it. You'd hope for a clean sheet straight away. And then moving on to defence, I've got Kieran Trippier. 2 out of 2 so far. I've gotten the double up with Newcastle as well. Same reasons. Good fixtures in it, good form. I regret taking him out. He's aggressive, he's on set pieces. He's a bargain, really, Kieran Trippier at the moment.
Absolutely. One
of the most valuable players in the game, I'd say. Then next to him, I've got Cancelo. This is just rolling them all off, tick them off. I mean, I could have gone. I just think Cancelo. It's time to get him in. Like, he's not been as attacking this season, but in the last Champions League game, he was playing on the right instead of Walker. He looked really attacking. He got 2 assists that game in the Champions League.
He looked unreal as well. If you watch that game.
So he could, and we haven't seen him play since in the Prem. So he could he could turn it on and he could be like getting those assists all of a sudden now. So it's a bit scary after seeing that performance to go without him and go with someone like Diaz or Stones instead. So I'm willing to pay the extra $1 million or $2 million for Cancelo for that reason. And then next to him, I've got Soufal. Yeah, I like. So West Ham's a tricky one because they haven't played good at all this season. But you just look at the next 4 fixtures in particular: Everton, Wolves, Fulham, Southampton. Like, they're real good fixtures and really good defensive ones as well. And you could see a couple of clean sheets in here, I think. And then they've got Liverpool, all right. But then they've got Bournemouth after that as well. Like, it's a good run of fixtures. So it just depends if West Ham can kind of turn it on. And I don't know, really. But I think there's a lack of options in defence, because who else do you go for that, like, cheap defender? Like I said, Palace, but they blanked this week, and I need someone to play this week. So it's kind of the only decent option that I like that's fairly cheap still. So at the moment it's Soufal, but that is one spot in my team that I think I'd be willing to change still. But at the moment it's Soufal. So I'm playing 3 at the back. So if we move on to midfield, I've got Andreas Pereira, who everyone will have, to be fair, because he's the best bench option and the best 4.5 midfielder. And Forest away is a good enough fixture to start him, I think. I think Fulham could batter Forest here, to be fair.
Yeah.
Forest are conceding goals for fun, very similar to Leicester. I think they're the worst 2 defensive teams in the league at the moment, are Forest and Leicester. And then, he's got a good run of fixtures afterwards. So if I do need to play him off the bench, then there's no problem with that. Then next to him is Martinelli. Brentford away. Martinelli, to be fair, I think a lot of people have him because I still think he's probably the best value pick in the game right now. He's only 6.5 still. Like, he's gone up 0.5, but his returns have like more than justified 6.5 million. So yeah, Arsenal have got tough fixtures-ish. They've got Spurs and Liverpool in the next 3. Then after that, they've got decent fixtures, but they do blank in game week 12, right? So that's kind of an issue. As
far as we know, it should be. Yeah, it should blank.
So that's kind of an issue, but I can deal with that when it comes to it. I can probably bench him, no problem. And I think he's just too good value not to have in your team at the moment, I think. Then next to him, here's where we differ. The first one, you ready for this? It's Saint Maximin from Newcastle.
Oh, I had him in a draft earlier today.
Did you really?
Yeah, because I was thinking about that attacking potential against Bournemouth.
Yeah.
He's just flagged at the minute, isn't he? Still,
he's flagged in the minute, so that's the only concern. Is we don't know for sure that he's going to play. But I think before we had the break last week, I think they said that he was fit to play, and then we obviously missed the game, so we don't know if he was or not. So we'll just have to wait and see if he is fit to play. I'm going to wait for the press conferences, obviously. And if we hear that he's not going to be ready, then I don't think I'm going to have him in my team. But I think, judging on what has been said, that he will start this week. And I don't think there's too many issues. So I like him. I like getting in that Newcastle attack because I think a lot of people will go for Isaac. And the way I want to structure my team, I don't really have room for Isaac. And I think St. Maximin is arguably, like you said, more nailed on because if Wilson comes back, who does start out of Isaac and Wilson? Like,
absolutely,
could be a headache after that. So yeah, I'm quite happy with that pick at the moment. Next to him is Bowen, Jared Bowen. Like I said with West Ham, I'm just not convinced on him. But we said before we started recording, there's a lack of options really, especially in midfield. Like, who do you even go for? Like, all the good players are kind of, Liverpool and Chelsea players. I say good players. They haven't been performing all season, so they're not really good, are they? And that's the thing. No midfielders have been performing. It's all been the forwards this year. It's been a total reverse of last year. So it's just slim pickings in midfield. And I was searching for someone because I don't really like Bowen. I don't think he's got any attacking returns all season. Like, I don't really want to go for him, to be honest. But who else do you go for? I couldn't really find a better option. and he's got good fixtures coming up, really good fixtures. You think he could turn it on soon, and hopefully he'll start banging in some goals like he was last season. So yeah, not completely happy. He's the other spot in my team which I could see changing, but nothing's standing out to me yet. Then moving on to my forward line, I've got Haaland, finally correcting my wrong. You know, yeah. He might not start against Wolves, is the only thing. He will. He probably will.
We thought that all season. He started.
I know. Yeah, there's no point trying to guess.
You
just got to captain him and just let it go. Then I've got Harry Kane as well, because I think he's done great this season. Like we said before, if Haaland wasn't in the game, we'd be like, oh wow, Kane's performing well. I'm glad I've got him in.
Everyone would be on him, wouldn't they?
Yeah, he's returned in every game, but game week 1 against Southampton.
When I had him?
yeah. The only game week you had him.
Yeah.
And ever since then, he's done all right. So yeah, I want a Spurs attacker as well, because I quite like their fixtures. I think they've got better fixtures than City, which is why I've got him over De Bruyne. And he offers captaincy options if I didn't want to go for Haaland. Absolutely. And then next to him, I've got Mitrovic, as everyone will, I think. I think it's, well, not necessarily. It's between him, Tony and Isaac, right, I think, for that spot. And Mitrovic has just looked the most on form, the most on fire. Fulham look really good. And like you said, he is that target man. He is the one scoring goals for Fulham. So, yeah, he's on form right now. It seems like he can score against anyone. And they've got a great run of fixtures coming up anyway, so why wouldn't you have him in? He's just a really good, cheap option.
Great.
So then on the bench, I've got Ward. Nothing needs to be said about him. I've got Maddison benched. So I have got Maddison in, like you, but he's first on my bench instead.
We'd literally have this. If I literally played Kufal, we'd pretty much have the same starting 11 apart from one player.
Same Maximin, yeah.
Yeah. And I do want that. That's the thing is, the reason why I looked at him is because I thought if I didn't get Isaac in, I was like, I would still like being part of that Newcastle attack, but the only player was St. Max. But then I was like, I want him more for I want him more for this week as well than any other week. Whereas Maddison's fixtures then after this week, get so much better. So I'm like, is it really worth it for 1 week and then setting in kind of a bit of a transfer? I don't know if it is. Whereas in a couple of weeks, if Isaac's still, starting, then Kane to Isaac could be an option still. Do you know what I mean? It depends. If Wilson comes back, it's going to be, could mess everything up, to be honest. And
he probably won't come back. He gets injured for fun, doesn't he, Wilson?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't pay 70 mil though to bench Isaac, would you? Like you'd find a system to play Wilson and Isaac if he comes back.
I mean, they're both top class strikers, aren't they? That's the problem, but
yeah,
I guess it's a good problem to have. So
yeah, I'm just being optimistic, I guess.
Yeah. So like you said, Maddison from next week has got an unbelievable run of fixtures. So he's kind of similar to Jared Bowen in that you just hope that fixtures over form. You hope that it can turn it on over these next few games and start scoring. But for this one, Spurs away, I don't really want to start him. I prefer my other players. And then second on my bench is Nico Williams, because I think he's great value still, 4 million. Forest aren't doing. They're gonna let in goals. They are, but I don't really see a better 4 million option defender really, because of his attacking threat. So he's still in my team. And then I've got Reece James as my final defender, because Chelsea's fixtures are really good. Potter's there now, could transform him a bit. They haven't been playing great, but it could really help him out that way. And Reece James, we know how attacking he is. We know how explosive he is. And if he can start keeping clean sheets as well, then for 6 million, he's
unbelievable.
Right back as one of the best value picks in the game again. Yeah, so that's my team. I've got the same plans as you, as to bring in Zaha in game week 10.
For who?
I think it'd probably be for Bowen, Jared Bowen. I don't think I can afford to do St. Max to him. So I think it'd have to be Bowen,
how much have you got in bank?
I think I'm 0.2 off that, possibly.
Okay.
I'm not sure. I'd have to check, but yeah, I think it'd be for Bowen. because Zaha's fixtures are so good, aren't they? And he's been a man on fire as well. So
yeah,
I'd really
and he could score against Chelsea. To be fair, like
he could,
Zaha could. So it's not like that's what I'm thinking. Like I could bring him in and like bench him for example, like I could replace Maddison with Zaha, right? For now, if I was going to bench Maddison already, then next week play him against Chelsea, and then I've already got him. Where is everyone going to bring him in? But then I'm like,
well,
I'm not sure.
but
Do you know what I mean?
Madison's got Forest next week as well. Like you want Maddison.
Yeah, you want Maddison, exactly. Yeah.
And I prefer having Maddison on the bench rather than Zaha because he's actually playing a game this week, whereas Zaha blank. Yeah. So if I need someone off my bench, at least it's playing. Right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So I've got Zaha booked in, and then down the line, I'll do the same as downgrade Kane, upgrade one of my midfielders, maybe Maddison to get Salah in about game week 11, game week 12. And then I'll find a way afterwards to get Trent in. I looked at it a bit today, and I'd have to take out. I don't know. I'd have to do something, but there's always a way, right? There's always a way to get Trent in. I'll find a way. So yeah, that's my team. My captain, though, this is where we differ. I'm going Kane.
Yeah,
I'm going Kane. I've been eyeing up this fixture for weeks now. It's the reason that I wanted to keep Kane in my team is for this Leicester fixture at home. He loves the Leicester fixture, and I think he could absolutely bang. And I think he can run wild. I think Leicester's a much better fixture than Wolves, but the counter argument to that is Man City are a much better team than Spurs, and it's Haaland, and he scores loads of goals. So it is a risk, I suppose, but I'm
risk.
Yeah, right. I'm kind of like, I've been set on this like all week. I haven't changed captaincy at all. Like,
I just think the fixtures. I won't change it.
I just think the fixture's too good, and I think it's it's just a bit more fun going against the pack. So captaincy on Kane and vice on Haaland, and that's my team. What do you think? I imagine you love it because it's yours.
I like you said, people might not believe us or not, but we have not said anything to each other. I'm not sure. We've both said, like, I've said I'm thinking about wildcarding because I've got 6 players out. You said you were thinking the same, but we've not showed each other as teams at all. So the fact that we've got 13 out of 15 players the exact same, but the players we're thinking about bringing in are the exact same. The only difference is you've gone for that Newcastle attack, which I want part of, which is why I was thinking about Isaac, but I just didn't. I don't know. For me, it was a bit of a risk on St. Max, and I thought I'll get Maddison. I'll have Maddison in. The Bailey's the risk for that cheaper option on the bench, but he's got a nice fixture, and literally that's the only difference. The only differences that we've got. Yeah,
the difference is that you've got a more expensive defender that you're going to play, and I've got a more expensive midfielder that I'm going to play. That's it.
And that's only temporary until I can find a way probably to get, like you said, Trent in. And I think if you're going to double up in the City defence, like you said, I mean, if Laporte was an option, I'd go Laporte because I think he's got more goal threat, but obviously he's been out for ages. And he's slightly cheaper now as well. So if I ever wanted to go on that double City defence again later on, like say, if I got, if brought in Trent and they're still like playing pretty poorly. But Laporte were back, might end up going him. But yeah, I mean, the thing is, the issue is wildcarding this week is I feel like a lot of us are going to have similar teams. Like, not just us. I think everyone's going to bring Pope in because it's just hard to argue against it, to be honest. It's really hard. Everyone who didn't have Trippier is bringing him in. Yeah. Cancelo, most people had him, so you keep. Most people are benching James or Trent. Some people are benching Trent, but it's a lot of money. Everyone's keeping Martinelli. Everyone's got Haaland. People are bringing in Kane and Mitrovic. Yeah. And then the only thing where it's differential is midfield, isn't it? I think that's where you're going to get differentials.
Yeah. But it's hard because there's not that many good options. Like the 2 players that are at risk for me are Bowen and Sufar, the West Ham players. But
yeah, exactly the same for me as well. I mean, I'm tempted to even go Sufal to Emerson because Emerson's got more of a goal for it, I think. But
he's just a bit riskier, isn't he?
Yeah, that's the thing. But it's cheaper, so are you like as bothered? I know, but Kufal's not even that much, is he? So
no, it's 4.4. But yeah, Emerson is 4 million. So like if he is guaranteed to start, then it'd be a great pick. But I'm just not not too certain on his minutes, especially because I think Cresswell might be coming back. I'm not too sure.
I think he is back, yeah. So rotation risk there maybe as well. Because they've still got Conference League, haven't they? So he might play in that, and Cresswell might play in League, or vice versa. But we won't know. I don't think until a little bit later. But yeah,
I've got one more question for you then. Because you've got triple City, right? And you've got an Arsenal player in Martinelli. I'm pretty sure the game week 12 fixture is confirmed to be a blank now between Arsenal and City. So are you worried about having 4 players from those teams?
No, because I think my plan all along is to get Diaz up to Trent or to swap him out around that point anyway. So whether it is Trent or someone else is a different case. But Carlin's not going to go anywhere. I'm not going to get rid of him for 1 week. Cancelo isn't, and Martinelli's I've got value held in him, so I'm happy to bench them 3 and swap him out. But I'm going to try. What I might try and do is roll into that week with 2 transfers. So if I did want to kind of, take a little bit of a punt by getting rid of someone, like maybe it might be a simpler switch to get rid of Cancelo to Trent in terms of money. Maybe.
Yeah.
I might do that. But it just depends on how they're going. But I think I'm happy. I wouldn't want. If I had 5 players from them teams, I'd be a little bit more sceptical. I wouldn't want to, because I feel like I'm planning my transfers then around just that, and I don't want to do that. But Haaland's a season keeper unless he gets injured. Pretty much the same as Cancelo, especially if he's going to be as attacking as he was in that Sevilla game. And Martinelli's probably similar as well. So I don't see myself getting rid of the spine of that team really. Unless something goes horribly wrong. So
makes sense. And I like this double City defence. I think it's different, and I think it'll work out well for you.
It's only Diaz as well, because I think he's the most nailed at this moment in time, because Ake's been injured, so has Stones, so I'm just not sure there.
Yeah.
And that's the only one. If I knew he was going to play, like if I knew Ake was going to play, I might go for him, because I think he's got a more of a goal threat from set pieces. But it's not worth it, to be honest. I'd just go for Diaz. I've got 0.8 in the bank as well, so I've got a fair bit of money in the bank. So if I did downgrade Kane, I'll have like 5.5 mil, nearly 6 mil.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of money to play around with. So I'm fairly happy. That's exciting.
Yeah, it is exciting. Wildcard's always exciting. I think that about wraps it up, right?
Yeah, we'll wrap it up. Like I said, anything to it. There might be some slight changes to our teams, because if we get some news, especially the fact that Man City's playing tonight, if Cancelo gets injured or something, it's going to change the team. But there's not much we can do about that. But we'll send like a final team selection again on Instagram and Twitter, so you can see what we've done. But I can't see it changing too much unless I find out St. Max he's starting. That might be the only thing that might sway me somehow. I might be able to think some things out. Like I might even go without Bowen. I think Maddison's I'm more likely to lose Bowen than Maddison. Yeah, mainly because Maddison's been good so far this season already, and he's the only one who is scoring in that team. Whereas Bowen's not, like you said, he's not done anything. But Bowen's also, if he's on pens, but they're not guaranteed. So it might be a potential that I could go down from Bowen to St. Max, or I could swap Mitrovic to Isaac. But like I said, Mitrovic is just more nailed on, so I'm just not sure about that. But and I might get really annoyed at having Bailey if I just look at him and think you're going to troll me so much. But there's no one else I want. Alex. Well, yeah, no.
You just carried on talking.
Sorry. The only other player, by the way, I was considering, because I forgot to mention him, is, and I don't know why, I just have a bit of a feeling. Anthony Gordon at 5.5. Because
he's not coming to my thoughts, I'll be honest.
No, he's, if you actually look at his stats, right, they are quite mental, and he's actually so much better option than Maddison or Bowen this season.
In terms of XG,
kind of crazy. XGI, I think Everton's fixtures are getting a little bit better. Yes, they're still struggling to score, but his composure on his last couple of goals has been excellent. The only thing is, if Calvert-Lewin does come back, then obviously he's going back into that number 10 role. But I just thought for 5.5 mil, it could be a nice, like quite a big differential. But
yeah,
I'm not sure I'm willing to pay that 5.5 for him. If it was 5, potentially. But 5.5, I'm just a bit like. But he's just a little bit of an out there pick. But I think he could be a nice one. If he scores this weekend, for example, though, then you might all be laughing at me. But you heard it here first.
All right, you wanna know my out there pick?
Kane.
No, Iheanacho I think is actually a shout. He's going to
start.
He could be. He started the last game, I think, instead of Vardy, and he scored. I think. Yeah. So true. If he plays the next game, he could be a shout for Forest at home in game week 9. That's.
Oh yeah, it's the fixture after, isn't it?
Yeah, and then after that it's Bournemouth and then Palace and then Leeds. Like if he gets on a good run of form.
Yeah, it's that front three like. Vardy.
Yeah, he's too risky and there's no room for him with the forwards that we've got. Yeah,
not when they're all banging.
If we're naming mad players like Anthony Gordon, then I'll throw him in the hat. Why not?
All right, yeah. Well, that's one different. We should have a differential pick every game and just see what happens. That'd be quite fun. Yeah. Right, yeah. We'll wrap up. We'll keep you posted on our socials and stuff. Make sure you like and subscribe because we'll be back next week if nothing else kicks off.
Yeah,
we can't promise anything. But good luck for game week 8, Joel. If you do well, I'm going to do well, pretty much. So I'm happy. It's only the captaincy, isn't it?
Rise up, Kane captain gang. Here we go. This is our week. Stick with it, everyone.
It's tempted me. You know, it's just Haaland scares me too much.
No, I don't want you to.
That's the issue. Okay,
would be too similar.
What would you do if I just went mad and went Mitrovic? That it's not a bad option.
It's not a bad option. Great fixture.
I don't
do it. Put your money where your mouth is.
I've got no money.
Coward.
Right. Yeah. We'll see you next week, guys.
All right. See you later.
All right. See you later.